back in here, under my services, I've got create call center queue. I now have this available to me. So if I click on this, very similar to the call queue provisioning wizard within SASBOSS today for our BroadSoft side. So let's give it a name here. What our queue length is. So this is how many calls can be in that call queue. Be aware, you are still limited by the simultaneous call number as well as the external call number. So I'm still limited by my 5 external calls and my 16 simultaneous calls within the platform. So by default, it's going to pull up the number of simultaneous calls as your queue length. So just be aware of that. So even though the queue length here is 16, we're probably not going to hit more than 5 in that queue because from an inbound perspective, that's where they're going to be calling from. The ID number, I can apply a DID to this one. My extension, so once again, unique extension for the service. After the name, like always. And at the bottom here, we've got our advanced settings. So call recording, something we've been asked for a lot previously was call recording on a queue level rather than a user level. Xpress can do this for us. So we're recording calls based on the queue they come in on, not based on the user themselves, which also means that from a user, if I call outbound, my call's not going to be recorded. But if a call comes inbound via the queue, it could be. So if I need to record those calls, I can do that here as well. Time between announcements. So being able to provide announcements within the queue, how long you need between them. I would increase that from 15 seconds because that's really fast. I want to speak to some people and change that default. And then call back in queue. So call back in queue as well, allowing the customer to be able to be called back. So once again, another feature we've been asked for. So if there's functionality here, don't fret too much. We are probably bringing it out on our BroadSoft side in the not too distant future as well. So we're trying to keep pretty good feature parity between the two platforms. And then it gives me my standard messaging. So entrance messages, yes, you probably want an entrance message saying your call's being placed in a queue. That being said, it only supports custom announcements by default. So there's no default announcements pre-recorded in here today. So that's something that we are looking into. But for launch, it's customer announcements only. So be aware that if your customer is doing call queues and they want this kind of functionality, same goes with music on hold. So be aware if customer needs those settings, be prepared that you will need to reach out to them and get those configured for them or recorded for them. Got the recording in there. I now have distribution model. So I've got a few more options within here. So regular, hunting through the same order as they list every time. Simultaneous, as always, and uniform, so whoever's been idle the longest as well. This is also where you set your agent timer ring out as well. So slight difference there. It used to be on the call queue in some announcement settings or something like that on that side. It's a bit more simpler here. It's just on your agent settings, how long you want that ring out to be, and then who you need to be part of that call queue. Just going to add everyone for now, make it simultaneous call so people can see what it looks like. Hit submit on that.